Hi, this is Andrew Farris from INXS.
Hi, this is Michael Hutchence of INXS.
I want you to take me back for a second to that fateful trip. I guess it was about April 1982. It was a decision to travel to London, and I'll bet probably New York City. I know you came to America to try to secure for INXS an international record deal. First of all, why was that necessary? You were making hit records in Australia. Why was that? Why? What did you discuss? Why was that trip necessary?
It wasn't necessary. I think we're pretty open. We just decided to go for a bit of a jaunt, really. We thought that'd be fun. And we could sit around in London and New York and LA or wherever. And, we just started writing an album. So Kirk, Andrew and I started to get together. And we actually ended up in London in a house, a sort of ex-brothel if memory serves me well. It was very purple and mirrored. And we sat around and...
And the phones ring.
And the phones ring. We sat around and wrote stuff. I mean, whether or not anything came out of it internationally, we weren't really that bothered. We were actually we were excited and consumed by the fact that we could be somewhere else new and write music. And the influences were great. We were seeing reggae for the first time, properly. We were seeing, New York bands. We were seeing all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. We'd seen bands in Australia. As you said, we had success in Australia. We'd seen bands in Australia bore themselves to death with it. It's all very well. You can have your success, but so many times you can do your tricks and play down the road, and people just start take the gun pointing at your feet. Dance, boy, dance. What are you going to do after a while? So we decided to actually get out of there quickly as possible. In a way, once we'd really played it and made some friends, and go overseas and play a bit and then come back again. So we keep it fresh for the audience,
Yeah, I mean, we'd actually built up quite a career overseas outside of Australia before Australians really realised we had, which was sort of strange,
I didn't realize that either.
No, well, it was, it was good, really, I think about it.
Or was that building up?
Well,
building up a career outside of Australia, or in Australia?
No, outside.
Yeah.
And Australians not being aware of the fact that we've been doing that.
Yeah.
It was funny to go back and people would say, "Well, what have you been doing?" Oh, what have I been doing? I just spent 3 months, sitting on a tour bus.
I think it was a good move for us. Kept us fresh. When we come back, you go away, you get a lot of influences, or at least you live a lot, and you come back and people aren't sick of you, and you play around the corner again. We got, we didn't get to an end in Australia and had to go overseas, which is basically what a lot of bands did in Australia, and then it's kind of too late.
That is, this time it's from INXS, their third album, Listen Like Thieves. Michael Hutchence, Tim Ferriss with us from INXS in the Out of Control Room. Wasn't that written by brother Andrew?
Andrew, it certainly was. He wrote that on an acoustic guitar.
It's got that feel. I can hear it coming down that way, sure. It also sounds slightly different, I think, than just about anything else on the record. Does anybody ever mention that?
Is. It's a bit more anthematic, I suppose, in many ways.
That?
It was probably written and recorded pretty fast. Actually, the whole album really was written pretty quickly.
Tell me about that. I understand that you went in with just loose ideas and let the chemistry kind of happen, Michael.
We went back to our old rehearsal studio, the old Cockroach Pit. And,
Eye of the Tiger,
yeah. Gotcha.
And we just sort of spent 2 weeks in there and having a blast, and hopefully all the songs are sort of songs that you can play on an acoustic guitar anyway by yourself. That was the idea, get into the studio and do it live, and the songs should stand up on their own.
You're right.
Yeah, we wanted to do songs for songs' sake.
You're right.
This album,
Yeah. We're with Michael Hutchence and Tim Ferriss of INXS in concert tonight. That's why I said that it's interesting. This time has as you said, has a real acoustic. Put your foot up on the stump here and just strum out this tune. Whereas so many other the songs, at least the ones I really go for on the new album, they're very, very danceable
Yeah.
rock and roll.
It's the way we do things. I suppose, we really like funk and a lot of black American music, and we kind of use that as the foundation on the rhythm section and put all the rock
Classic
and roll
rock
and
guitar over
stuff
the
on
top.
top.
Yeah, I mentioned to you that, boy, it sounded like Memphis horn charts circa about 1968
That's right.
there. You know, I could hear Otis
the kind of
Redding
sound.
with those horns. Great,
Yep,
great
little
feel.
Kirk blowing his guts out there.
Eyes bulging.
Yeah, and that bass is just really rolling. Very good. Let's take a listen to the title track, Listen Like Thieves. That was Listen Like Thieves, the title tune that ends ice cold with INXS in the control room with us here. We have Michael and Tim. In the interviews and things like that I've read about you, you've really pushed the point, though, that it is so much a band, that there really are band decisions and band compositions and things like that, and that it's a very democratic thing.
Yeah.
You've been together for so long. Do you not even feel that, Michael, as far as that
Look,
brother connection?
Tim and I are probably more like brothers than he is with his other brothers, I tell you.
Isn't that remarkable?
Yeah.
Don't you find that to be
It is.
fascinating?
It's great.
Well, it's kind of like we grew up together, everyone. So,
Yeah, in the band.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and and the three brothers are very much individuals. They're very different people from each other, and it's like we're all brothers now. We've been together for 10 years as
10 years,
friends, and it's
jeez.
like 6-7 years as a band. So
Isn't it? But it's really remarkable that that hurdle you jumped years ago, right?
yeah, that's right.
You know,
Yeah,
because
we
it
did.
would
We
only
did
be
in
a
the first-
normal. It would be a normal tendency.
Really, in the
right?
first year we got over that hurdle
yeah,
because we lived together.
Our
you know?
garage was like where we all used to meet and get together and
Right.
stuff because we had the
Garage
biggest
bands.
garage.
That's where they where you had the
and
biggest
it's like-
garage.
yeah,
That's where you
so,
had.
So it always happened in our garage, you know.
Oh, my living room.
Oh, or you're now it's your living room, right? I'm Redbeard with Michael Hutchence and Tim Ferriss of INXS. I am fascinated by the, I don't know, just the sheer physical distance between our two countries and life and everything like that. And yet, music is such an international thing. It just
Certainly is.
it's the automatic international universal language, isn't it?
It's a ripper, mate. It's fantastic. No, it is. You know?
It really is. How or can let me rephrase it. Can you tell Tim when the lights go down and you walk out, you plug in, you set up, you get the nod, you hit it, the lights come on, and because you're staring into a black concert
that's the way
hall,
it is.
you can only see maybe the first 3 or 4 rows. Can you tell? Could you tell if they blindfolded, no one told you? Could you tell you were playing to an Australian audience rather than American or an English audience, or is it pretty much?
That is difficult to answer.
Think about it. I mean, is
it's
there
pretty
any-
similar in a way to Australia, actually, American audience, especially here in Texas.
And why do you think that is?
I don't know. I guess
What similarities do you feel?
topographically, it's pretty similar. You know, there's
The
a lot,
land.
lot of desert near Australia, and I guess you're fairly close to the beach here. And
You can be. That's
yeah,
true. We've got
and-
Somebody said if we had snow in the
You'd
mountains,
have everything, right?
We'd have everything in this state. And I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it is. Well, and you know, there's a large surfy kind of audience in Australia too that we play to. I mean, everyone sort of surfs because everyone grows up on the coast, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, the only place you definitely know you weren't in Australia are the sort of the real obvious places like Japan, you know,
Oh, okay.
or
Okay.
Argentina even.
Okay. And you've played all these places.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Fascinating. It really is.
Yeah, we just in fact it's about a month and a half ago we did our first show in Buenos Aires. 25,000 seater sold out, which was really awesome.
25,000.
Soccer stadium, barbed wire,
Yeah.
soccer
It was
stadium.
unbelievable. It was
Tell
like-
tell me
like a
about
riot.
that.
Yeah.
Well, what happened was they get kind of excited there. you know. I mean, they like to have a good time. And what happened is they put up a barricade down the front. When we actually arrived for sound check, Nina Hagen had played the night before. They had a metal barricade, and that was torn into like tin can shreds.
You're kidding.
And so they put up a wooden one about 15 foot high. So nobody in the front could see us, right? So they just started to kick holes through it and climb over it. And the security guys are using riot sticks on these people. So I'm using my microphone stand on the security guys. Security guys are trying to hit me. In the meantime,
It was
kick
like-
these people off stage.
And perform at the
And
same
perform at the
time?
Well, that was about the end of the night,
My
luckily.
goodness.
It was really wild. I mean, these guys are using
It's on
like
film, too.
6-foot poles on the audience. You
It's
know?
unbelievable. Yeah, so I'm freaking out, saying, what
Yeah.
the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Hitting these guys with my mic stand and trying to hit me. I mean, we got it down on film. I have to have a look at it sometime. But it turned out good. I mean,
very strange.
they said it was pretty normal.
Some good friends of ours in the band Crocus played down there in the Rock in Rio thing back in last winter, and they said they came out and there's like 80,000 people, and they looked outside of the stadium, and just to the far wall outside the stadium there is like a hill, and they said you could see armed military men with automatic rifles ringing that's the venue. That's the kind of atmosphere. That's weird.
When we left the concert, like the whole like a limousine outside the stadium was just like surrounded entirely by machine gun armed guards, like in a big square.
And do they really think they're doing you a favor? I mean, is that necessary?
The people kept away. That's for sure.
They didn't come too close. Didn't sign too many autographs.
Hi, this is Andrew Farris from INXS.
Hi, this is Michael Hutchence of INXS.
What songwriters have, in hindsight, really influenced your songwriting, influenced your pop sensibilities the most?
Well, funnily enough, that's a really interesting question. I don't think I've been asked that. I think I probably relate more on a songwriting thing to people like, say, for example, like The Doors. I want to say like a Ray Manzarek thing, where he could somehow manage to be on your television station, yet sort of manage to make people go, "What is this? I don't know that I like this. We shouldn't be listening to this," or something. Perhaps from a song. I like music to move me, and I like when I'm doing something to move other people. I don't want to just make music to fit in with some format or something. It has to move people, So that, for example, that's just one act. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of other people over the space of years there's, classical composers, for example, in centuries past. Some of the chord changes those people played with.
Anybody in particular that you think?
Yeah, Beethoven. And now you're testing the limits of my classical knowledge, I suppose.
That's one more than me.
Yeah, but Stravinsky, and even weird guys like Schoenberg, and there's been strange musical things gone down the past with Stockhausen. Then you've got people playing these days with electronic gear, and then they put things together and they write with electronic gear, and even if they probably don't even realize they're doing it, they're actually doing something with a different medium again. But it's all just music. It's the same notation, unless you step into some weird quarter note scales. It's all the same thing.
I'm most curious though about what songwriters would have really affected your pop sensibility. Something that let's say something as basic as it really made you want to write a song someday half as good as.
Okay.
Not necessarily today.
I like a lot of the '60s writing, not because I was just obviously very impressionable at that age, but more so because I like the spirit of it. It's really interesting stuff. Mind you, as I get a little older, there's also some interesting stuff happening in the '70s as well, and I mean even some of the most daggy stuff you can imagine, and also through to punk and what that did as songwriting as well. It was just streamlined. Everything was very flowery in the mid '70s. You had these overdone some classical pieces with people crapping on, and then
people don't realize that the Sex Pistols are actually have so much in common with the early Beatles singles. Really
basic chord changes.
Because before the Beatles came along, it was all sort of Perry Como and Schmaltz, and they came along and spent 3 chords: verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus, bye. And that's exactly what a Pistol song is, And it was just upgraded with a little bit more attitude.
They even copped it to the point of no solos, no solos. No banal guitar solo in the middle. It's like
exactly
they didn't do that in the Beatles didn't do that in the early days, and so
that's right.
The Pistols
no indulgence,
forget
You're right. You're right.
Forget
Actually,
the guitar solo.
Actually,
That's
just,
why people loved punk,
just along those lines, one group of people I think who were immensely clever. I mean, brilliant. Was the Motown group of people, because they were, like, to me, almost on a leg on their own. They were fantastic singers, fantastic players. They were doing something that had never been done before.
What kind of shift do you think? What kind of things do you think are unique? Maybe challenges, considerations that a band has to make wanting to hit the international scene if you're coming from Australia, as opposed to New York City or London?
I don't know. We actually didn't. To be honest, we didn't take anything into consideration. We really didn't. We thought, look, what are you going to do? You're going to. People don't want to see another version of what they have down the road. And we were very lucky. I mean, I suppose if we came over and nothing happened, we might have, sold out and sort of said, well, we better, get ringlets and spandex pants or something. But we didn't. I don't know.
Let me give you.
We couldn't afford them.
I'll give you an example how basic I'm talking about, though. The first time I met Michael and we did an interview in Dallas, he was talking about the flight, just the magnitude of the flight from Australia to L.A. And then come to see us, let's say, in Dallas.
Yeah.
And the numbers are like, what, 22 hours
Yeah,
or
something
something outrageous
Yeah.
on a plane. And I said, I've never heard. I can't imagine. I never heard. And he said, we're used to it. This is a step that if you're from Australia and you're going to do business,
I see what you mean, yeah.
this is something that we all accept. It's we don't go on and dread it as it's relative.
Yeah.
Anywhere you go, it's going to be that.
It's an enormous gamble, and sometimes people in Australia go, what about that band? Why haven't they done well overseas? And they, but it's such a big gamble and it's such an enormous undertaking. It costs you a lot of money before you even catch a cab to the hotel.
That's right.
Just to get there, get the guys there, and get the gear there. You're sitting around the hotel. You've already spent $100,000. You're sitting around going, okay, well, and that's loans. We went to the bank. Went right.
Yeah,
we're mad.
I was about to say,
completely crazy.
if you really want the truth, we were like putting your spaghetti into the strainer, to cool water on it. We got stuck in the strainer. We're the mad spaghetti. I mean, really, you can say a lot of things. You could say that all this coming from Australia sorts the men out from the boys, the crazy ones from the sane ones. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it is, but all I know is that we just kept doing it, and perhaps it was a lot of
faith.
I was about to say, perhaps a lot of it was just a blind faith that maybe we would do what we wanted to do, and come whatever may.
It's an adventure, regardless. I suppose in a lot of ways we've always had, a sense of humor and a wanderlust in a way, and we've always thought, well, let's just go out there and try it. You can get stars in your eyes, but I don't think we really had that many stars in our eyes. I think we just had a good, healthy sort of dose of adventure as well, and things have gone well for us. We've always tried to maintain that, I mean, naively so, that we're a garage band done well almost, or a pub act done well, which is
literally
great, which we are, and we've tried to maintain that. But it's worked for us. It's kept our feet on the ground.
Exactly. I mean, also you want to talk about long plane flights for poor little old us. I mean, you've got a lot of sporting people who do this as well. You've got your US tennis stars, and you've got your when I say stars, I should say players, because these people are supreme at what they do. Okay, I give that respect, and also I like watching tennis. But and same with all sorts of sports people as well that tour on an international circuit.
It's a similar gig, isn't it?
And these people put up with tremendous stresses, let alone having to go out there under cameras and perform their bit, for whatever. And you see John McEnroe throwing a tennis racket around or whatever, and sometimes I think, who'd blame him? I mean, you get there at the end of the day, you think, what am I playing tennis or am I playing something else? It's so I was saying the lifestyle itself is when you travel is you've got to make a decision to do that, and that's part of the job.
I guess you've got nothing else to compare it to, but I don't know. For my money, I just think that little things that you take for granted because all of your mates have had to do the same thing if they were going to make it this far, this big in the international music scene. They've all had to do it, and you feel that you're in some way, I guess, not special. But I guess comparing it to what so many bands that, you mentioned Deep Purple a few minutes ago. Roger Glover's a good friend of mine, and he said there's really only 3 cities in America, in the world, if you're going to be in the music business. You have to be within an hour's drive of London, New York, or L.A. And I just think that there's a lot of truth in that, and I think for you to have the stature that you have, and to have not done it flash in a pan, not done it with your first album, then over in your second,
and not lived in one of those cities to do it.
That's my whole point. I really think that it's more remarkable than your either your modesty or your perspective allows you to see. I really do. I really do. And I mean,
well, it's not. I mean, I guess so. I mean, it certainly is hard. I mean, it's hard enough in Australia to get by in the pubs without being sort of ending up with 20 stitches in your head. Let alone get to the airport.
You learn some basic survival tactics. Let me tell you. I mean, that's the truth.